going to read from The Whispering Tree, forthcoming publication, which is a translation in English of En compagnie des hommes, that I wrote as a way of remembering what happened during the Ebola crisis in West Africa. It erupted in 2014 in Guinea first, then Sierra Leone and Liberia. And it's a book with many voices, and what I'm going to read today is chapter 12, and it's a young man talking. The title is Faced with the Powerful Death, Poetry Can Bring Solace. And I read, when my fiancé showed the first signs of illness, there was nothing I could do. I wanted to keep her by my side, to care for her, but I knew that it would be senseless. I am not a doctor. With me, she had no chance of recovery. With me, the only outcome would be dying together. The idea had crossed my mind, the two of us going at the same time. She was in real pain and kept pleading with me. I know it's Ebola. I'm lost. Help me now, please. I don't want to die in agony. I don't want to see you witness what I'm becoming. Help me, I beg you. If there was any chance, I needed to grasp it. I called for an ambulance to come and collect us. In the car, we held hands. When we arrived, we went to the triage tent where every patient has to pass through first. The medical personnel stayed 2 meters away from us and took our temperature with an infrared thermometer. It was like having a pistol pointed at one's head. Then they asked us very precise questions. Are you vomiting and or are you bleeding? Are you nauseous? Do you have a sore throat, hiccups, or any other abnormal symptoms? Have you recently been in contact with someone suffering from Ebola? My fiancée replied that one of her colleagues at the office had been infected. She also answered yes to several other questions. As for me, I just had a bit of a fever, but no sign of the illness. I was sent to the area reserved for suspicious cases, where I had to wait for further tests. I was distraught when I saw that my fiancée was taken to the area reserved for confirmed cases. She was led there by 2 nurses in protective clothing. It sent shivers down my spine, and I instantly regretted my decision to bring her to this place. I might never see her again. I was angry with myself for letting go of her, just as she had to fight for her life. If she lost the battle, our life together was over. Several days have passed now. Every morning the nurses take my temperature, assess my health, and check me carefully for any symptoms of contamination. My initial test was negative. We need to wait for a second one. When you are just a suspicious case, you are allowed to walk around in the courtyard. You can read, exercise, and even play cards with the other patients. Today, I have propped up a chair against the outside of the wall and sheltering from the sun under the corrugated iron roof that casts a thin shadow on the red soil, I sit with my notebook on my lap. I'm writing poems. Actually, they are not really my own creation. They are poems I know by heart and that my fiancé used to love listening to me when I recited them. I long for our poetry evenings. When I have finished writing down a poem, I tear the page out of my notebook, fold it in two, and hand it to one of the nurses. I ask them to leave it at the foot of my fiancé's bed. For me, this is the only way I can remain close to her, the only way I can express my love for her. For a long time now, I've loved to sing your footsteps and listened to the breath in the middle of the night. For a long time now, your scent has invaded my old senses, and your voice sounds in me 1,000 far echoes. For so long, your smile has sketched my foot, and your nimble fingers have woven my days. So long I've known the rhythm of your heartbeat and the black velvet of your shallow skin. I had trouble remembering a second poem. I see more and more people arriving at the Ebola Center, and I see more and more people dying. Burial teams take away the bodies in a hurry. I have become familiar with this place, with the way it is organized, and with most of the carers. It is a place that's cut off from the rest of the world. There is but little room for hope. In truth, poetry is so futile here. All I want to do now is spend my time next to the fence that separates my area from where my fiancé is kept. There I can gather some information about her. I have been told that she remains in a critical condition and that it is still not possible to make predictions. I remember the day we met. It was at a party in a friend's house. There was music and plenty of food. The moment she came into the room, I knew that she would play an important role in my life. We spent the entire evening talking to each other as if nobody else existed. And after that, we never parted company. People say that we are very much alike because we have the same habits and we laugh at the same jokes. And I'm fairly certain that our way of thinking is the same too. We told our parents that we were planning to get married so we could start living together. What I love most about her is her gentleness. She's beautiful without being obsessed with her looks. Her eyes are as deep as a river. Her skin is smooth and her hair is thick. Every time she smiles at me, I catch myself falling in love with her all over again. The thought of her suffering is intolerable to me. What if she dies? It simply cannot be. I'm sure that she is soon going to be discharged. Then we can leave this Ebola center and resume our life as it was before. So I decided to carry on writing. After all, it's the only link left between us, the only way I can let her know my feelings, the only way I can send her strength. Here is my second poem. I remember diving into your eyes, discovering each one of your features, and listening to you intently. I remember having shared with you a moment in time, a point in space. I remember an everlasting place where each minute was ours. She has to win this battle. She must prevail. It cannot be otherwise. I fear death, but not for me. I'm not afraid that I might snatch. I'm more afraid that it might snatch my beloved. She is my will to live. My second test has come back negative, which means that I will have to leave the Ebola Center soon and go back home. I do not want this separation. Even if I am not actually with her, at least I feel close to her. I decide to go back to the barrier and wait. After a while, a nurse walks towards me. He lowers his gaze and says, "I'm so sorry about your fiancé." My last poem is not a real poem, but it is the only one I have ever produced. I want it to be like a scream aimed at the sky. Pain, throbbing, pulsating, stinging, going right through me. Pain, freezing, burning, acrid, bitter, tearing me apart. Pain, burning, blazing, pressing, haunting, blinding me so much. Pain, like a flash of lightning, searing, cruel, killing me with so much suffering.